This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
So you're in the building, you're in the back. When you're there, when you show up to the building, you walk in civilian clothes and get dressed in the dressing room. And
Yes.
then you have multiple sets of gear because, hey, they might be taping multiple weeks and I might need multiple pairs of trunks. Or did you have multiple pairs of trunks at the time?
I had 1 pair of boots, 2 pair of knee pads, and 3 pair of trunks.
So going back to the very beginning, who told you? Was it Ted Allen who says, here's where you get your boots and trunks?
Yes, he did. And in those days, it was Noel Ash to begin with, back before my time, from Arkansas. And then Bill Ash, who they were excellent boot makers, incredible boot makers. And that's where I got all the boots that I got during my career, and everybody from my generation, pretty much, I think, and before, got them from Noel and Bill Ash.
So back in the day, these days everything's a little different, but back in the day, they would just tell you, hey, measure here to here and send me a check to this address with those measurements. Or do you just call them over the phone, or how does that work?
Pretty much sent him a cashier check. He said, what's your foot size? And I said, 11D. And that's all the information he made that he needed.
So he didn't have to measure your calf or anything like that. He could just get it.
No.
Okay. And so as far as the trunks and stuff go, did he make those as well? Or is that
No.
a different fella?
That came from K&H.
Wow. Everybody used them forever.
They did great work. And this was a time when, this was prior to guys wearing the long, tights so much, certainly before spandex and leather and all that, the flashy stuff that they do wear, today and have worn for 30 years. But when I first started, everybody had K&H tights, and that was who you used.
So, Lord, I know this was 100 years ago, but how much do you think boots and trunks cost back then, if you had to guess?
I want to say my first pair of boots was, and it could have been every pair of boots, I want to say were about $150.
That's not bad.
No, God. And tights, I want to say, were $25.
Wow.
Now, remember, this was 1982.
Yeah, that's more money back then for sure. But I'm just thinking, you've sold a few pair over the years. Those trunks go for a lot more these days once they got some mileage on them, don't they?
Yes. But it was a wrestling business. It was a wrestling product. No one was going against the fact that that's what it was. And you wore wrestling boots, not biker boots, and you wore wrestling tights because that is the business you were in. And no one ever questioned, hey, you guys, can we wear something? Can we wear a long spandex? What the hell is spandex? I don't even know that it was around back then.
Yeah, it's not what people were doing. It got really fashionable with jazzercise in the 80s. So, using the old inflation calculator, your $25 trunks were about $68 in today's money. And your boots that were $150 back then, they're about $410 now. So, not terribly expensive, but not exactly cheap either, especially when, you're working matches occasionally for a half dozen hot dogs. So, you find, I don't think those boot makers took hot dogs as payment. So
I asked him, I said, say, I know the house is down and but you got to eat. How about these hot dogs to pay you for those boots? It's, if you really calculate it up, because I ordered all that stuff and put a rush on it when I got hired for Bill.
Right.
And I knew I had to have a couple of pair of boots. I knew I had to have a few pair, but that was probably when I would all totaled it up, that was more than I made for my first week's work. When you put it in that,
is it
prospectus.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com.